You can get it, you can get it, you can get it, you can get it. And I know, just know, just know just what you want. Oh, where the justice, put it in the song, alright.
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, 1, 2, 3. Hey, it's me, Essence from the internet, and you're watching my channel. Subscribe. Hey, it's me, Essence from YouTube. New year, new intro. What do we think? How do we like it? What are we feeling? Do we love it like I love it? As you can tell from the title of this video, today I'm going to be giving you guys some poetry book recommendations. These are really just books that I love and I hold so very near and dear to my heart. I absolutely adore poetry. These are poetry books that you guys can and hopefully will fall in love with this Valentine's Day season. For those of you who don't know, I feel like this is one thing those very, very personal to me only know about, and I'm making it a little bit more known by the minute. Poetry is so very special to me. I love to read poetry. I love to write poetry, and this feels so intimate. I'm going to be showing you guys some books that have really resonated with my soul. I have different books for different things. I think my self-help, my self-growth books, those are for my mind. I think my romance novels are for my heart. And I think poetry books are for my soul. They serve my soul, and I'm really looking forward to sharing these books with you guys. These are books that have seriously emotionally impacted me. These are books that have brought me lots of light and love and joy, and also relatability. You know, it's nice to be in the presence of someone else, and by someone else I'm referring to the authors that feel your pain as well, you know, not just your highs but also your lows. And I think these books, particularly these authors, do a great job at capturing that. Okay, so I have no particular way of filming this video. I want to show you guys these books, and I want to read you some of my favorite poems out of these books. And yeah, we're not gonna do too much planning. I kind of just want to be present in the moment with you guys and read a little bit with you. Yeah, let's not waste any more time. Let's get into it. Starting off strong. These books are all by Lang Leave. I absolutely adore her work. This is probably one of my favorite poets, if not my favorite poet. As you can tell, all these books are written by her. Out of all of these, I'm pretty sure I just have two main ones I'm going to be focusing on, and I'm going to get to them in a second. I feel like if Lang Leave wrote a warning label, I'd read it. If she wrote a medicinal prescription, I'd read it. If she wrote a caution sign, I'd read it. So talented and so incredibly heartfelt and in tune with her emotions, and she's not afraid to acknowledge the not so pretty feelings as well. And yes, she writes about them so beautifully and articulates them so it's just wonderful an experience reading her work. Out of all of these books, as you can tell, I have plenty of them. The only one I haven't read is this one. I meant to read it in September. It's called September Love by Lang Leave. Yeah, I was gonna read this in September, ended up not getting to it, so I will be reading it this September in 2025. If you know, you know. I am a seasonal reader. I love reading in alignment with the seasons, even if it's just like an emotional season. You know, if I'm feeling a certain energy and I want to read romance, or if I want to read mystery, or whatever that looks like. So these are all the books I have by her. Anywho, first up I have Love and Misadventure, my absolute favorite, and I'm going to be diving into this one a bit deeper and more intimately with you guys in a second. Love this book. I have The Universe of Us, Self-Love for Small Town Girls. This book is so dirty. It's been through some journeys with me. I'm pretty sure I brought this book with me on vacation, and yes, it's got a little dust of diving in. That's what we'll call it. Lullabies, Memories, and then lastly, September Love. Can we talk about the covers for a second? I'm gonna have to do like a close-up so you guys can see. The covers of her books are all so pretty. Just look at this. This one, I love a hardcover. It's so gorgeous. Starting off with Love and Misadventure. I read this book, I believe the year was 2022. I read it on Valentine's Day. This is one of those books that found me. The timing was so divine. It was so perfect. Actually, was it 2022? It might have been 2021 I read this. I took a nice bath that night. I had some strawberries and whipped cream, and I just romanticized the moment. Again, I read it on Valentine's Day, and I had my pink bath bomb, and it was just so perfect. I think I read the whole thing that night. It was so good. This is one of those reads I will still go through and flip through it to read some of my favorite poems, because it is so special to me. It is so good, and it just takes me back to that night of just indulging in self-love and self-care and feeling so seen within the pages. I was listening to music as I was reading. I wish I could remember the song that was playing, and I was just having a moment. I just felt so consumed in love, you know, in the midst of reading love and misadventure. I don't have any poems highlighted for me to go, oh, I know I want to share this one. However, there is one poem in here in particular I remember so distinctively. It's called Soulmate, and I just remember it really resonating with me and being one of my favorite poems in this book. I'm seeing so many good ones as I'm looking for it too. Okay, here it is. This is on page 119. Again, it's called Soulmates. I don't know how you are so familiar to me, or why it feels less like I am getting to know you and more as though I am remembering who you are. How every smile, every whisper brings me closer to the impossible conclusion that I have known you before. I have loved you before. In another lifetime, a different place, some other existence. How romantic. Oh my gosh. This poem reminds me of that moment where you're meeting someone for the first time, and yet it feels like you've known them before. Like, there are moments, there are people that I look at and I'm looking into, and I can feel them looking into me, and there's already this sense of familiarity, like, oh, we've been here before, we've done another life together before. And this poem reminds me of those people and those moments and the impossibilities that occur every day, like those moments. And it's crazy because it's not just a romantic thing either. It's in friendships, it's in animals. Like, I feel like I've had spirit animals where I'm just like, ugh, you were my dog in another life, you know? So this poem just, it makes me feel all those warm and fuzzy feelings. I think this whole book does. This book feels like one nice hot cup of hot cocoa. And if you know me, you know I love hot cocoa, and that's what reading this feels like. But another poem in here. I found a couple that like I forgot about, and then I saw the title and it just took me back. Okay, this next poem is Rogue Planets. It's on page 53. As a kid, I would count backwards from 10 and imagine at 1 there would be an explosion. Perhaps caused by a rogue planet crashing into Earth or some other major catastrophe. When nothing happened, I'd feel relieved, and at the same time, a little disappointed. I think of you at 10, the first time I saw you. Your smile at 9, and how it lit up something inside me I had thought long dead. Your lips at 8, pressed against mine, and at 7, your warm breath in my ear, and your hands everywhere. You tell me you love me at 6, and at 5 we have our first real fight. At 4 we have our second, and 3 our third. At 2 you tell me you can't go on any longer, and then at 1 you ask me to stay. And I am relieved, so relieved, and a little disappointed. Oh man, this takes me back to like not even very long ago, to be completely honest with you. It's those moments where it's like, I don't even know how to put it in words. But it's interesting in life, you know, you can feel so many things at once, despite how opposing they may be. The relief in having something and the disappointment in having the same thing, it's so bittersweet. I think it's interesting the complexity that we can feel such things at once. It makes the human experience all the more interesting, I'll say that. Anywho, this is what I mean by the art. Can you see this? I don't know if you can see that very well. It's so pretty. The artwork in here, not just on the cover but in the book as well, you know, each section. This whole video could literally just be me reading this book. I love this book so much. We're starting off on such a good note. Oh my gosh. Ooh, I remember this one. This is a little sexy poem. I like this. It's called A Well-Dressed Man. It is on page 27. His charm will disarm. His smile and fashion. Ooh, wait, I'm messing it up. Hold on, run it back. A well-dressed man. His charm will disarm. His smile and style. His fashion and passion. His words, his flirt, his tie from his shirt to my wrist, his kiss, his kiss, his kiss. Oh la la. Ugh. Doesn't that just paint the picture? Who or what does that make you guys think of? I feel like someone in particular has to come to my mind. Even if it's someone you haven't met yet, you can already picture the man she's crafted with her words. Ugh. Too fine, too fine. I'm curious, who did she dedicate this to? This is the dedication page. I'm going to read this and I'm going to read one more poem out of here for you guys. She lends her pen to thoughts of him that flow from it in her solitary. For she is his poet and he is her poetry. Comment down below someone or something that's become your muse in art. Ooh, how about this? You know what? I'm just going to flip to a random page and read whatever poem I find on here. Let's see. Okay. This is called Saving You. It's on 143. Or no, 103. Let's read it. The darkness takes him over. The sickness pulls him in. His eyes a blown out candle. I wish to go with him. Sometimes I see a flicker, a light that shone from them. I hold him to me tightly before he's gone again. Lately, man, she does it every time. Again, this is one of my absolute favorite poems. Perfect for Valentine's Day season. Again, the first time I read it was on Valentine's Day, and it's just so complimentary to all the feelings that this time of year tends to bring. So would highly recommend this book and all of her other work. This is The Universe of Us. I'm pretty sure this is either the second or third book I've read by this author. Yeah, let's flip through it. Let's find a poem or two or three to share. Ooh, wait. I just saw something familiar. I remember really liking this poem. It's short and sweet and it resonated with me. It's called Her Love Letters. The truth is there are pieces of me in everything I have written to you, for you. After all, what is a poet but a composite of her love letters? That's page 107. I feel like if you really want to get to know an artist, look at their work. And I feel like this is in alignment with that and with me. Simple enough. Page 103, Loving You. Loving you is like being 10 years old again. Scaling a tree with my eyes bright and skyward, wanting only to get higher and higher without a thought of how I would get back down. Oh, that's sweet. I love. Oh, okay, I just read like the first two lines and I knew this was one I had to share. This is called Too Much. It's on page 101. Are you like me? Do you give too much too quickly? Do you throw yourself blindly at the world, thinking that it will always open its arms up to you? Do you feel the slow turning beneath your feet? The shifting plates? Do you sense the streams of fissures roaring in underneath like unrequited love, desperate for somewhere to go? Do you feel the wind pulling back and forth, constricting and expanding, a perpetual cycle as vicious as it is tender, like when it hurts you to breathe, but it's the only thing that sustains you? Are you like me? Do you live with the dial turned up at full volume? Can you taste the salt of the sea when you're miles inland and the ocean feels like a fractured memory? Are you like me? Are you alive or just pretending? There's something in this, the line where she says, do you throw yourself blindly at the world thinking that it will always open its arms up to you? This reminds me of something I've written myself. I wonder if I can find it. Let me see. Now this is my journal. Isn't it pretty? It's so gorgeous. Oh my goodness. It's called Life's Leap to Hesitation Pipeline. She used to leap. She used to run into the arms of life with such fearlessness, such enthusiasm. As she grew older, life grew colder. So that's a little something I wrote. Anyway, so the next book I will be talking about is Whiskey Words in a Shovel, and this is by R.H. Sin. This book is pretty special to me because I remember reading it. And by the time I finished reading it, I was like, immediately, this was written by a woman. Like, this was so touching. This was so understanding. It made you feel, it made me feel so seen as a woman reading this. And then I did a little digging. Turns out this is just an incredibly emotionally intelligent man who wrote this book, and it is so beautiful and it is so touching. And so much so, I actually had a friend that was going through a bit of a rough time. He was in a place where he could use a little literature or something to, you know, put him in a good space. And I sent him a few books. This was one of them, and he told me it was his favorite, which I was really happy to hear. And yeah, I'm going to be reading a few poems out of this book with you all. Good Hearts, page 83. The only downfall of having a good heart is that you find yourself constantly searching for angels inside of demons, and they wonder why the good know so much pain. If you felt that, let me know, because I felt that. So this next poem is called Hopeful Romantic, and I kid you not, it was poetry that introduced me to the concept of hopeful romantic. Now, this wasn't the first book that introduced me to that. I have that book and I'm going to show you guys it. But it was overall poetry that introduced me to the idea of a hopeful romantic. I feel like oftentimes we're more accustomed to hearing hopeless romantic, you know, a beating heart, wandering around, hopeless in the midst of searching for love. But I pride myself on being a hopeful romantic and keeping an optimistic eye on love, despite how challenging that can be at times. And I thought I'd read this poem called Hopeful Romantic and share it with you guys, and it's on page 114. I assure you that when this life ends and the dust settles, I will find you in the next. These are the kind of promises that stick with your soul. You carry it with you to the next life, you know, despite the body you inhabit. As long as the soul is still intact, the promise is too. Ooh, let me know what you guys think of this one. Know and understand. The words "I miss you" will always sit upon the lips of the man who tried to break you but failed. Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna do one more poem from this book. Genuine Love, page 166. Love me when things are bad. Love me when the storm arrives. Love me when I've lost all hope. Love me through my imperfections. I guess we will be ending that there. Again, this is Whiskey Words and a Shovel by R.H. So next we have Her by, I hope I pronounced his name right, it is Pierre-Alex Gentil. I read this book years ago. I love the way the cover shines. Can you see the light reflecting on it? I flipped through this again recently when I was looking or rummaging through my poetry book to see what would be a best fit for this video. And I literally got lost in reading this book all over again. I forgot how good it was. Even this first line, oh my gosh. I do not claim to be a great poet, but a great observer of her. The way artists love is so beautiful. To be loved by an artist is such a divine thing. Whether it's a painter, a filmmaker, a pottery maker, to be loved by an artist is such a beautiful way to be not only loved but perceived and appreciated. Like that right there, that was beautifully said, beautifully said. I'm excited to get to this, guys. Everything, like, there isn't a page I'm turning to where it's not something worth sharing. Like, I'm trying to decide what do I share with you guys so I don't end up sitting here and reading the whole book to you. Comment down below if you like that though. I don't know, let me know, let me know. Anywho, ooh, this is page 5. Women like her are both salt and sugar. How her love tastes truthfully depends on what you bring to the table and how you serve it. Ooh, there's some perspective. That's interesting. This is page 20. I highlighted this page and all it says is love her the way you crave to be loved. Could you imagine if everyone loved like that? If everyone loved the way they wanted to be loved, how simpler a place the world would be. Let me see what else do I have highlighted in here. I haven't flipped through this in a little minute, except for like the other day prepping for this. So this is page 22. It just says, you may not be their cup of tea, but to someone else you will be an entire ocean of everything that quenches their thirst and awakens their soul. Oh, oh my gosh. The art in here is cute too. It's like little doodles by some of the poems, and they're really cute. It reminds me of like when you're just doodling in school or in your notebook. This is 29. I don't know what it is that made me stop on this page, but I want to share this one with you guys. And it just says, her broken heart is searching for a new reason to love again, more than it is trying to find a hand that will help it get peace back together. It knows eventually it'll become whole again, but it must have the hope that once lived at the center of it before it is restored. Can we talk about that for a second? Solitude is so significant, and I feel like often overlooked. And it is in that solitude we find so many things that we may potentially miss in the midst of surrounding ourselves with people. Even here it talks about finding hope after love is lost or a heart is broken. And I feel like oftentimes, at least I know with myself, that hope is found in solitude, and there are those moments where I just need to return to me. There's such significant moments of restoration and growth. Okay, I have 3 more poems I want to share with you guys out of this book, and then we're gonna move forward. I don't know, y'all, might be a little bit more than 3. We're gonna rapid fire because I just came across so many good ones. Let's just bang them out, see how many we can get through here. Page 95. There will be times you will have to be your own friend and lover, your own shoulder to cry on, and use your own hands to wipe your tears. Those times will feel lonely, but they will teach you how to stand on your own when no one has your back. Page 101. There are very few things as adventurous as exploring her mind. Page 104. She is a mermaid, going against the flow. The wave society expects her to follow tries to drown her true identity, and slave she no longer wants to be, but free to be who she needs to be. 110. The moment she didn't want to be fooled anymore was when he chose not to be a fool anymore. The beauty of bad timing. Do you guys believe in right person, wrong timing? I've heard so many different perspectives about it, because there are some people who believe if it is the right person, then the time will be right. And if it's not the right timing, then it's not the right person. I don't know. I'm still deciding how I feel about it. I think both perspectives are pretty interesting to look at. What do you guys think? 111. Love is a miracle that happens to those who believe. Don't stop believing. I think I'm gonna end with that. That was a good one. Again, this is Her by Pierre-Alex Gentil. Beautiful, beautiful book. I was about to say highly recommend, but I'd highly recommend all of these. That's why we're here. So, and last but certainly not least, we have Old Soul Love by Christopher Poindexter. This book I forgot I had until I saw it today in the midst of gathering my lighting and setting up for this video. Immediately I knew this book had to be a part of this video. I looked at it and I got taken back to the time I read it, which I think was, I don't know, it might have been my sophomore year in high school. This right here, this is the book that introduced me to the concept of a hopeful romantic. I think there's all of this idealism about old soul love. We want the old soul love, the old 90s love, or even before that, we want the pining and the yearning and the courting, and this book does a good job at capturing what that feels like. Let's get into it. It's been years since I've read this book, but I remember thoroughly enjoying it. Oh, yeah. All the feelings are coming back now. They're all coming back. Oh, that's one thing about this book. It's so intimate. It's so raw. It's so beautiful. It's just beautiful. Page 20. And maybe in the end, we were all just humans, drunk on the idea that love, only love, could heal our brokenness. Oh, I just remember something else about this author. He speaks so highly of the love he witnessed between his grandparents. He talks about seeing their love and seeing everything he aspired to have when it came to love. There's this poem in particular I remember. I hope I can find it in here. But he talks about his grandmother losing her wedding ring after her husband had passed, and she's tearing down the house, ripping things to shreds looking for this ring. He's watching his grandmother tear down this place to look for it, and it just reinstores the fact that some people are worth tearing down the house for, just for the memory of them, the symbols of them, you know? And then if I recall correctly, this book, it was dedicated to the holding hands typo. Deathbed holding hands, kind of. I knew it. Okay, this is the first poem in here. It is on page 2 and it says, my grandmother and grandfather had the old soul love. It was truly your hand in mine until the end of time. I watched her hug him, her aging arms wrapped around his barely breathing body as he took his last breaths. Goodbye, Jack. I'll never forget you. I still find myself broken up about that moment. I wear his cologne out everywhere I go. I like to think I am keeping him alive a little longer for Grandma in this way. Ordering his favorite tequila, embodying his gritty charisma. I aim for this love. It's somewhere out there and I know it. I'm in the small and quiet army of hopeful romantics. The holding hands, deathbed kind of love. This honestly feels like the most intimate video I've ever done. I'm not gonna lie. I was talking to my mom about this earlier. I rarely speak about romantic love publicly. I hardly ever do, because it is something I hold so sacred and so near and dear to my heart. And you guys, I have high standards for myself, for my future partner, wherever they may be. And yeah, because ultimately that's what I want. The holding hands, deathbed kind of love. If it's not that, I'm not interested. Page 3. How could I forget her? First loves might as well be a body part. We will always carry them. You guys, I wrote a book about my first love. If you're curious, be sure to check them out if you're interested. Page 4. Should we just start from page 1 and work our way down? These are all hitting. Okay. It is impossible to not be romantic with the world when we exist beneath the sun that constantly makes love to the horizon. The universe is love. Life is love. The trees are love. The clouds are love. The sun is love. We are love. This is all love, and he gets it. The author, he gets it. Page 5. Yo, this is what I mean. Every single page is hitting. Okay. If I shall die before her, I beg of you, whoever is in control, God, cosmos, nature, ocean, give my body to the sun so that every time it finds its way to her flesh, she is never without the warmth of my love. This is what I mean when I say the way artists love. Imagine being loved like that. How beautiful is that? We might as well get comfortable. We're gonna be here for a while. I loved her, not for the way she danced with my angels, but for the way the sound of her name could silence my demons. Page 13. Practice forgiveness, especially on yourself. Page 32. You guys, I found the poem I was telling you about. Last week, I found out what true unconditional love really is. I watched my grandmother stretched on all fours on the floor, searching desperately through her home for a tiny ruby that fell off the ring grandfather gave her. I watched her, thinking how there was no way she would ever find it, but hoping she did. She said it could be anywhere. I asked her for an extra flashlight. We both searched for hours. I listened to her weep and not say a word the entire time. It was contagious. I thought of when grandfather gave it to her, what he was thinking, what she was thinking, if he from above in some other dimension was watching her, searching faithfully for that ruby as if it would bring him back. It was in these moments that I realized what I want from this world. No matter how often the tough, gritty boy in me likes to hide, I want to be loved like this. I want to love like this. I want it to hurt and rise and spill and tremble across my skin, but in the end, I want to be left with it. That love staring at me like a tiny ruby gleaming from my eyes from the floor. I don't care how much it hurts anymore. I want to fall in love and never be sorry. Page 41. You ask me how I love you, and the reply will always remain the same in the spaces between seconds. Page 40. There is absolutely nothing in this world more irresistible than a person who inspires by simply wearing their heart on their sleeve. Page 45. In all you do, absolutely everything, may love be the core, may love be the essence. Page 57. I hope he gets the love he's looking for, the love he's searching for, the love he writes about. This is all so incredibly beautifully written. It's so vulnerable and so unapologetically so, which I feel like is rare to see. I hope you fall in love with the journey and not just the idea of the destination. I hope every day, every single day of your waking life, that you choose to do the things that illuminate the world around you. Things that keep a fresh smile spilled across your face and thunderous laughter in your belly. I hope you kiss your friends in public and tell them in strange, unique ways that you love them. Send them quirky postcards, buy them exotic flowers. I hope you find peace in good art, good music, compassion, intimacy, and goodness. I hope you find new and inventive ways to love yourself and to keep falling in love with yourself no matter how hard things get. And I hope you feverishly inspire others to do the same. I hope, truly hope. And please know that I believe in you just as I believe that I exist in this moment right now, writing this letter of hope to you. And if by chance someone asks you, their eyes doubtful and tired, what good is hope? I hope you reply with these words. Well, hope, sweet hope, is all that I know. My letter to you all, page 64. Okay guys, my camera actually died, so I'm going to be filming the rest of this video on my phone. I've got about 2 more poems left in me that I want to share with you guys, and then we'll be concluding. So, here we go. This poem is on page 81. Every human being on this planet is battling something. So for the life of me, I will never understand why we are so cruel to one another, why we do not love often and more naturally, and why sympathy toward our fellow human has become such a mystical thing. Where are our eyes, our spirits, our blood pumping and beating hearts when they are needed most? The formula, when we get down to the bone of it, is simple. Be gentle, be kind, treat every living soul with the tenderness of a mother. Be forgiving and hold no grudges. We speak of love like it is this mundane cliche reference. But at the end of it all, when we throw in the towel, the white flag raised high and holy to the cosmos, love will be the only thing left, the only thing that truly mattered. Our only purpose is to invest in it, to treat it like music, moving our bodies to it, our eyes wide and our hearts open in relentless bloom. Page 80. And I'll end with this. What you love, you must love with the entirety of your soul. Xoxo love, ladies and gentlemen. Please do not forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. You already know, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. 2025 is my year of consistency on social media and making content. I'm gonna need y'all to hold me accountable on that. So until next time. Mwah.